This is Adam Watson.
Robert Diaz.
You're listening to the Darkslinger Mafia podcast. So been, a month since you've been on here?
Oh, far longer than a month.
Has it been longer than that? Okay, well, we didn't do a podcast last 2 weeks.
We're in September now. I don't think I've done one since the end of May.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I didn't do any in June, and I don't think I did any. I don't think I did any
first
over
or second Levon was the first one he was on was when we were on the way back from Wenatchee, and that was on May 21st. So you haven't done a podcast since then?
Might have gotten in there after that, but I don't think I've done one since June.
Okay, yeah, so there were 3 weeks in total since then that we haven't posted anything. So the last 2 weeks just been way too busy with reselling.
So he's been keeping up with it, though.
Pretty well, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, and on the 4th of July I took a break just because, sometimes on holidays I take a break.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think so.
Can't work every day.
Nah, well, I still worked, but I just didn't do the podcast. I figured it'd be too much of a pain in the ass to record with all the fireworks going off anyhow.
Oh, yeah. Everybody local lighting theirs off.
Oh, yeah. Pain in the ass.
Always setting the dogs off, too, I bet.
Right? Yeah, they are. I got like 5 billion dogs. So, so this weekend on Saturday is going to be the Hillsboro Author Days. And I will be one of the guests, as well as doing 2 panels. I should really check to make sure about that, but yeah, I'll be on 2 panels.
How many people do they have?
In total that are going to be featured there?
Like people that are going to have a table.
I have no idea. I know that the panels, it's a 1-day event, not 2-day like their Comic Fest was. But I know all of the panels, I would think they have just as many people.
Is it a tabled event too?
It's a tabled event too. So yeah, I'll be on 2 panels plus be selling my wares just like their little Comic Fest they had.
Well, hopefully it does well.
I think it'll do well. I mean, I did really well there for the Comic Fest, and I do have new stuff to put on the table since then.
There we go. That should work.
Yeah.
Do you still have glassware to put out?
I do have glassware to put out, yeah.
Oh, good. People
I actually need to get my shot glasses from the liquor store, though.
Yeah, you should do that before you go, if you can.
So got that going, and I am hoping to still buy a table at Sasquatch. I'm not sure what else convention-wise is going to happen this year, though.
Did the last Frankenstein already pass?
The next Frankenstein is on the same day as the Hillsboro Author Days.
Oh.
So, yeah, I would have really liked to have done it. There is at the end of this month, I don't know if they're sold out table-wise yet or not, but there is going to be the last weekend of this month, a Vancouver Toy Junkie show.
Did we do that one before?
Yeah, that's the one that we've done that's at the Old Red Lion Inn in Vancouver.
The one with the Laserdisc guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
The one with the Laserdisc guy right next to us.
They had a lot of stuff in there.
They did. I've actually done that one 3 times now. I did the show with you in, what was that, March of last year. And then in June, they did a crossover one with the Frankenstein comic swap. So it was both shows at the same location, which really and truly didn't make it seem any different than just doing the Vancouver Toy Junkie show. And then I did it one more time in November when it was just the Vancouver Toy Junkie show.
They had a lot of stuff there, too. There was records out on one side of it. There
was
some VHS stuff going
There was a lot less records there the second and third time I did it than the first time. And the third time, I don't actually know if it even advertised records. I think it just called itself the Toy Junkie Show instead of the Toy and Record Show. But I could be wrong about that.
When is that one?
That one is the last weekend in September. And I should probably message them and see if they have a table available. Because I do have quite a few records, toys, all kinds of stuff right now that might actually go over really well there.
I got some stuff that might work there too. Some old kids records.
Yeah?
Yeah, like old Disney stuff and Muppets, I think, too.
Well, if I do that show, I'll let you know. And then you can decide if you want to be the helper at it or not.
Is that a weekend show?
It's just a one-day show.
Yeah, I couldn't remember.
Yes, last time I did it, I was majorly wore out because I had the Vancouver Toy Junkie show on Saturday, and then Sunday we headed up to Tacoma and did a show up there.
That's a lot.
It was. But yeah, I for sure have the show coming up this weekend. And then hopefully we'll get a table of Sasquatch as well.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Did you go to Rose City?
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
No, unless I have a table or a booth there, I just don't see much of a point in going. I walked around last year with Elias and his sister, and it was fun. It was fun seeing it through the eyes of someone who's never been there before. But to me, it just seems silly to pay $30 for something that I normally just walk around at when I buy a booth,
Yeah, when Selena went, because work could pay for it.
Right.
As research.
Right, that makes sense.
And she wanted to bring someone on. She said it was $55 or something like that the last day.
$55 for two people?
I don't remember what she said.
Okay, because I think it's $30 per day, generally.
Maybe, I don't know. That was just a figure that she threw out, and I was like, holy shit.
55 was most likely for two people, unless they bought a weekend pass. I think weekend passes are like $55.
No idea.
Could've been. It's hella expensive to go to.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to spend all my money at the door.
No. I think it's a lot more than that to get into ECC.
Well, if it's bigger, I would assume so.
Yeah. It's bigger, but there's not really a whole lot more to see there, really and truly.
Well, bigger probably in the sense then that you draw more of a star.
Well, there's a bigger space there, but what I'm saying is it's not like there's really anything that you can find at ECC that you couldn't find at Rose City, Maybe the Artist Alley area is a little bit bigger, but it seemed like it was pretty comparable size-wise. And then Rose City, you don't find as much of the stuff that we might want to buy. Like, you'll see Cosmic Monkey set with their discount graphic novel bins, or at least they did last time I was there. And, I purchased quite a few of those because who doesn't want some graphic novels for $1 or $2 a piece?
Oh, yeah, that's the best price.
But for the most part, if you go to a lot of these, like Frankenstein, Sasquatch type shows like we do, it doesn't seem as appealing because we're used to paying like, a quarter for comics and $1 for graphic novels. And like,
yeah, we're not aiming to.
And if it's something you really, really want, maybe it's like $3 or $4, but, there's not a lot of vendors that are set up like that. There was a lot more crafters and things like that when I went. And
we don't look for hot off the presses. We look for old stuff that.
We also don't look for like handmade masks and cosplay weapons and.
Oh yeah.
And so like the booths are taken up by a lot of things that aren't comics. You know what I mean?
That's. Well, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, hey, whatever people can sell, but it's a lot better than Wizard World. I've still not been to a Wizard World show, but one of my friends that went, not this year, last year, told me that one of the vendors' booths was selling hot tubs. And apparently Montel Williams was there. I have no idea.
It's just so random.
Montel Williams was there not as a special guest, but as someone who was trying to get people to sign up for credit card offers.
I think he does commercials on TV.
Well, apparently he travels to do it too.
Hey, I guess whatever pays the bills.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, good for him. He can get a gig doing that, but it's not what I go to a convention to see.
You don't want to get a hot tub?
No, I don't want to get a hot tub. But I'm majorly looking forward to this event. Last time, when we did the Comic Fest, it was a lot of fun.
It was really good.
Yeah, it was really good. It was my best show of this year. So, then one thing I was going to tell you right before we started, all of a sudden I'm getting interaction for Lay Mime with real mimes.
How do you interact with real mimes?
Instagram.
They sending you photos of them doing stuff?
No, they actually comment with emojis that are like hand signals.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've had I just got a comment by a pro mime account, but I've had 2 professional mime organizations, which I didn't even know were a thing, comment or interact in some way with one of the pictures of Lay Mime in the last 3 weeks.
That's funny.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
That's random. I mean,
it feels like some sort of weird accomplishment to me.
It really is. It's not something you ever aimed to get, but you got it.
Because I didn't even know pro mime organizations were a thing.
Well, it's a craft.
Yeah.
It's an old craft. I'm not surprised.
It is. And it takes a lot of skill, a lot of dedication, so.
Yeah, can't break character.
But you don't think of, like, clowns having a pro organization, you know?
Oh, I bet they do.
Oh, they probably do. They probably do, but I don't think about it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no one thinks about that.
So when I first saw the mime organization interacting on Instagram, you know, I went and looked at their whole profile and checked them out and went online and checked it out.
Maybe you should make a special panel for them.
Maybe. I thought it was pretty cool.
Endorsed by the United Mimes of
I'm
America.
surprised that they like him because he talks, and he talks incessantly. But he does have those moments where he just straight up goes into mime mode, though, you know? Like in issue number 1 when he's miming out the wall and the soldier screams, oh my god, he's building a wall, and then the general shoots him. So he can go into mime mode, you know?
I think if you keep that mixed in, though, I'll probably be happy with it because it's funny.
Yeah, well, that's the panel that they interacted with today.
And how many different mime things do they really see like that?
That's true. That is very true.
I'm sure that there's a whole thing on the internet about them, but
there probably is.
I don't really come across mime stuff.
I don't either. But there's the panel in the newest page, which was fucked up last week, but I fixed it today. The newest page has a panel where Lay Mime randomly appears behind the general wearing the general's outfit. So, you know, he does stuff like that just seems very mime-like if mimes had, you know, quick change abilities or the ability to mime beyond just their hands.
Maybe you need to do a mime convention.
That would be cool. Maybe they already have one. And this is like the area that I could do the best off Lay Mime, you know?
It's the quietest con around.
That would be awesome. You'd probably be followed around, being bothered all the time by
being put into a box or something.
Right. So yeah, 2 weeks ago, the El Bovine Muerte page featured the first appearance of Robert and David from Chronicles Von Helsing and Ghost Assassin in the El Bovine Muerte universe.
Nice.
Yeah. So if you haven't been keeping up with it, issue number 4 ends with Bethany Muerte, Lumpy and the Siamese twins, mutants, going into the future. So they're in the future 5 years from now. And Lay Mime and the General are co-leading a resistance. Resistance against what? I can't tell you yet. But they take them
I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't know what yet.
Oh, I know. I actually do know this one. So they take them into an underground bunker, and David and Robert happen to be there. So this issue features quite a bit of future David and future Robert.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, it's fun seeing them drawn up in this cartoony sort of way. And coming up pretty soon, let's see, I think 5 or 6 pages from now, you will actually find out some of the secret origins of what's been going on in El Bovine Muerte.
What's been going on about what? Just like in general?
I can't say that.
Like history?
The reasons why Muerte was taken by the general to begin with.
Okay. So secretive.
Yeah, I gotta be secretive because it's still a good 5 weeks away before the page is posted.
And now you're really excited for the reveal.
Yeah, because it was something that I had never thought of until I was writing this issue. And then as I'm doing the dialogue, it just kind of inserted itself, and I thought it was so great that I had to run with it. It's kind of a subtle thing, though, so we'll see if people, you know, even really notice. But
you'll know it's there.
But it was kind of one of those things that I just had to do as soon as I thought of it, like how I thought of when I was doing the cigarette commercial that the secret ingredient in cigarettes was ground up unicorn horn. And it's one of those ideas I just had to run with, so I ran with this one.
That's what it's about, though.
Mm-hmm. Random as fuck.
There's no rhyme or reason when you're
none at all.
When you're crazy and you're just having fun with your comic.
Yeah, that's all this comic is about.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, so since I last talked to you, Pat finished up the artwork for the Christmas special for Little Lay Mime and the Mini Slingers. So a whole different little Darkslinger universe there.
Is that going to be like a full thing?
It is 7 pages, so if I'm doing the math correctly, I think I will be starting, and I gotta double check to make sure what day Christmas falls on, but I'll be starting it either the week of Thanksgiving or the week before Thanksgiving, and running it up until like the week of Christmas. So it's a full 7 pages.
Nice.
Plus a cover. So I guess I'd probably need to start a little bit before that, or just throw the cover up as like a 2 post week, you know?
I think that would be good.
Yeah.
Or if you did it the week before it starts, put it if you're running something that week, put it with the end.
Right.
So then it's like a hint, a tease for next week.
Yeah, and we really, really want to do this Halloween special, but it's kind of contingent on the moment of me finding the time to sit down and write it. So I am working on it, and I've got a lot of the details fleshed out in my head. The whole thing is going to deal with the costume contest and the rivalry between the Pauper and Lame Mime.
I think the Halloween special will probably be the best.
The Christmas special turned out really, really good. I'm really happy with it. It's something
I
I've
bet,
had
but
in mind for a very, very long time.
I just like Halloween more.
Yeah,
That's why
I can get that. I can totally get that. Yeah. The Halloween one will be fun. It's the Halloween one does feel a little bit more inspired by old comic strips like the Peanuts and things like that than the Christmas special did. The Christmas special was kind of almost a little bit more like Calvin and Hobbes inspired. This Halloween special feels a little bit more like the Peanuts with the way I'm writing it, with a little bit of South Park thrown in maybe.
I'm not surprised. It can't be all little kid thing like that.
No, but it's still going to be very all ages friendly, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the point of it.
Right,
Is a fun
exactly.
crossover with all of them.
Right.
That reaches beyond the age limit of your other things.
Right. Speaking of my other things. So, Ghost Assassin has hit a bit of a snag.
I saw the email today.
Yeah, I'm having a little bit of problems with offset printers. One of the companies that I had pegged to go through went out of business, and I didn't think this would be a big deal because if you listen to the podcast, you know that I had 57 prices put together. I had plenty of backups. With the second printing company that I went to, it looks like they're not actually going to deliver. So I'm having to do a credit card charge back. And I'm going to give my money back and go to another company. So in the meantime, just in order to get this fulfilled, I'm giving all of you backers an opportunity to get a copy that's done with print-on-demand technology.
How can they take your money like that and not deliver?
It happens. It's just never happened to me before, but I've heard it happening to plenty of other people. But I paid with my credit card, so it's not like I can't do the charge back, and it's going to take a little bit of time in order to get it all back. But I checked them out; they seem solid and all that. But the one thing that I guess I should have paid a little bit more attention to is that it looks like there's only one employee that works for this printing company. And
one employee.
One employee, and so now that I see that, that does seem suspicious, but I didn't realize that prior to placing the order. But one guy with a entire printing press, it just kind of seems like if he was out to scam people, selling printing services is a weird way to do it, right?
Yeah.
But
how many people can you really get off that?
I have no idea. I wouldn't think very many, but I guess you wouldn't really need to do very many if it's thousands of dollars being transacted, right?
For the people wondering what we're doing, making all this ruckus while we record, we're opening boxes.
Yeah, we got little blind box mystery shot glasses just delivered to us.
Someone fucked up this box, though. There's not really much to save it.
It's okay. I have more of these boxes.
Okay, I'm trying, but it's already ripped.
We've got a bunch of Halloween edition Fireball shot glasses, and we want to see what's in them. So that's why we're making a bunch of noise while we're doing this. So anyway, I have a new printer all set up, and I've communicated with them. I've checked a lot of reviews, a lot of that stuff, done as much due diligence as I possibly can. And everything about them seems to be legit. So I'm going to be going through them. But in the meantime, I will do a short run through Color House, and you know the quality is going to be good because Color House does all my short run printing, and they always provide me with something I'm happy with. So far, there have been 2 backers who have commented, one stating that they would rather just wait for the offset print run, and another one that said that they would prefer to go ahead and just get one from the short print run. So which would you prefer? Because you're a backer.
I don't have a problem waiting.
Okay, fair enough.
Why go through the trouble of getting an offset piece like that, or whatever you call them, print on demand?
Print on demand.
Sure.
Well, basically, just for the people who are really hoping to have it in their hands quicker, it's an option.
I don't mind waiting.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, you spelled ball.
We spelled e-ball.
E-ball.
And now we have an I. So, it's I-e-ball.
E-ball. That's what you say when the ball's flying at you.
This would be a lot more interesting if we actually recorded video with our podcast. Oh, we've got 4 of the letter B. Looks like 4 L's, 1 A, 1 E, 1
2
I.
E's.
And, we got another E. So unfortunately, the one that I was still missing to make a complete set of this was an R. So we still don't have an R.
I'll sell you an R.
Yeah, I gave you that R for free, you dick.
Hey, this is business. You know how it goes.
I'll tell you what, I'll trade you an R for a little Elvis 45. How about that?
I'll just go over there and take it.
I suppose you could.
The R is worth way more than the Elvis.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Do you ever actually look on eBay to see what the records are going for?
No. I could have records that are worth a lot, but I don't know.
Yeah. What's the most expensive record that you know of that you own?
That I know of?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you. That I've paid for?
Yeah, okay. Let's do that.
That's not like a brand new thing, because you always pay more when you buy brand new from something.
Right.
I think the most I've spent on something that's old.
Uh-huh.
It's probably only $15.
Oh,
Not
okay.
that much.
Okay,
Because I
not
really
that
don't
much.
like to go outside that.
Yeah, I'm
At least-
notoriously cheap with everything I buy, too.
At least off the top of my head, it's $15.
Uh-huh.
Maybe
I have
there's one that I bought.
one book that I spent $100 on. And there was actually a good logical reason to spend that much on it. Beyond and besides that, I don't really think I very often spend over like $20 for anything. And that includes the big, thick omnibus editions I have. So the only one I think I spent $100 on is the Strangers in Paradise
Oh, yeah.
deluxe omnibus set. And I had like 6 of the trade paperbacks already, but to complete all the other trade paperbacks, I was like, it's going to cost me about that. And I could just sell the trade paperbacks I already have. It makes, about that. So why not?
I'm sure with the stack that I got from Levon, if I wanted to buy a couple of those...
Stack of records.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I wanted to buy a couple of those, I bet there's 1 or 2 that would have pushed into the $20 to $30 range.
If you bought them from like eBay or something like that.
Even if you bought them from a record shop.
Yeah.
Like that George Harrison probably would have been one of the more expensive ones.
Probably.
But he was nice about it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Why not? You're a friend.
The most recent one that I can think that I spent the $15 on, that was a Freddie King album. There was another Freddie King there that I wanted that was $25, but I did not want to spend $25.
I don't blame you. There's some new company that's doing collector edition records that I thought was really weird because they had one for Jessica Jones.
That makes sense for the market.
Really?
Well,
like when I watched that
records
TV
are making
show,
a comeback, so a specialty thing like that's a crossover.
I could see a lot of specialty things, but what about that show? Like, what music do they have in there that needs to be on record?
No idea. I didn't watch the whole thing.
Okay, I only watched the first season, but I don't remember anything being, that cool that was on it, like soundtrack.
I think Luke Cage would be a
Maybe
good
it's not a
soundtrack.
soundtrack though. Yeah, Luke Cage.
Maybe it's
would
just
make
the
a good
sound of her
soundtrack.
punching people.
That could be. That very well could be. It
Something
may
like
not be a
that.
soundtrack. It's hard to say.
There's a lot of specialty things out there for records because there's every year there's Record Store Day.
Right.
And there's specific releases that are for Record Store Day, and if you don't go to the store and buy it that day, you're probably not going to see it again unless it's up on eBay.
Right. I think they did like a Marilyn Manson one for that, didn't they?
I wouldn't doubt it. A lot of people have their own Record Store Day releases,
Mm-hmm.
and
So is that kind of like the free comic book day, but for record collectors?
no, they're not free.
No. But like free comic book day is the biggest event in comics.
It could be. You know, it's the biggest event that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to records, and you got to be there or you're going to miss out.
Ah,
I've seen some Record Store Day things there after, but it's never the things that you want.
right. That makes sense.
Because you can go buy an album for $30,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them you can turn and flip on eBay for $80.
Yeah. So why wouldn't you?
I wouldn't. I prefer to play my things.
Yeah.
There are certain things that I would think to sell if I ever came across it because they're worth so much money.
Obviously, a lot of my brain power is devoted to reselling things. If you look around my room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I could never figure out how many different variations are on things and how much things are worth because there's so many little things on records that make them worth money.
Yeah, that's actually not that hard for me because of comics. It's
Yeah.
something that comics and records have in common. So like when I started selling horror VHS tapes, it was really easy for me to figure out which were the first printings, which were the various releases, sort of stuff.
Yeah. How long back does VHS go though?
VHS, I think it started, I'm going to say around like 76, 77, but really, really got big around like 85, 86, something like that.
Records go a little bit further.
Oh, yeah, totally.
But I guess comics go back further too.
Yes, they do.
I remember listening to this radio program. They were talking about records. I don't know what they were talking about in general, but this one guy was talking about a Pink Floyd album where the triangle was a different color.
I have heard of that one,
And
yeah.
Supposedly the triangle's one color. You got an album worth a lot of money.
Right.
Triangle's another color. You got a normal album.
Right. Or like the Leonard Skinner one, where they're all in flames.
Where they're all ghosts.
Yeah. And then,
It's just a bunch of dead people singing.
they redid the record and re-released it where the image didn't look the same because like right after they released that they were in the plane crash and like the two people who look like they're on fire in the image are the two people who died in the plane crash.
Oh man, who the hell took that picture?
I don't know, somebody who had a special camera, I guess.
They had it out for him. The world had it out for Leonard Skinner.
Oh, that's sad.
No, I like him. Good band.
Oh, I
Could
love
use
Leonard
him.
Skinner.
But, kind of tragedy befell them.
Yeah, a lot of tragedy befell a lot of 70s bands.
Wasn't a good time to be in a band.
Apparently not.
You got real famous, but you were going to die.
Right?
That was the trade-off.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like a resurgence of the blues sort of thing. Everybody sold their souls for their little bit of fame,
Mm-hmm.
and the devil came knocking.
So one of the shows that I've done since we'll get this back on track a little bit.
Probably a good idea.
One of the shows that I've done since the last time you and I sat down that you were really interested in how it was going to go was the car show.
Yes. Yeah, how did that go?
So I didn't get a chance to print up special like metal or wood prints of Melissa's pieces for the show, but I still wanted to have them available, so I printed them up as just like slick gloss prints, 11 by 17 gloss prints. The show was actually really good. I mean, for my first time selling my wares at a car show.
Yeah, going into a random
Right.
thing.
So it's pretty cool with the way they had it set up. The whole outside area were all these rat rods and, just kind of cool shit. Like this one guy had a, 1937, I think, school bus that he had found in someone's pasture, bought it from them, got the engine going, and then just drove it to the show. So there was no restoration that had occurred to this thing yet, beyond and besides the motor.
I wonder if he would restore it.
He said he was going to,
Oh, okay.
but he wanted to show it at a show like this prior to, and it was sweet as hell. But there was
Sounds creepy though. You see it rolling down the road.
yeah, it was weird how different school buses looked then, because there were just like 2 bench seats in it, and they were flanking the walls, so they went like vertical instead of horizontal. And the school bus was small. It was actually really, really small. It was about the size of like a Econoline van.
No one went to school back then. No.
Apparently not. Or maybe it
Or
was a
you
school
walked.
bus for a really rural area or something.
You walked everywhere.
It's true.
5
So-
miles uphill both ways in the snow.
Right? So they had all of that, and then like where we were actually at was a covered porch area. So all the vendors were kind of just underneath this little area that didn't have much sunlight or anything under there, which worked because if you're selling like comics, you don't want them to get all sun bleached and sun damaged over the day, But at the end of the day, the table cost $50, and I think we made 55. So it's a little bit less than what the gas money would have cost to get there, after the table and gas. But considering the fact that I was doing it merely as an experimental show, and just to see if my stuff did well at that type of venue,
You made it back.
yeah, I thought it was successful.
What was selling for you?
The thing that I sold the most of was the gender swapped lay mime print. So there was somebody who bought the whole set of Melissa's pinup images, but they bought it primarily because of how much they liked that one single image. And that image, even the people who didn't buy it, there were a ton of people that drew over. People just really, really liked that image there. So if I'd had it in a nicer presentation, like a metal print or a wood print or something like that, like I thought of originally, I'm pretty sure I would have smashed the costs, because I can only sell it for $10 when it's a gloss print, but I could have sold it for like 45 or 50 if it were metal or wood.
Yeah.
So, but I only printed up 15 of each of those, so I just figured that the gloss print was just a severely limited run, and it proved to me people want to buy these images, so I'm going to go ahead and move forward with the metal or wood print idea on these.
Did the glass stuff sell?
The glass stuff did not sell there. I think I sold a shot glass, and it was a thing where somebody had bought like the Ghost Assassin issues, and they bought a complete set of those prints and a Chronicles Von Helsing poster, and they asked me if I would throw the shot glass in, which of course I did. I think that was the only glass that I actually moved there. But there was a surprising amount of comic collectors there. There was a lot of people who were walking around wearing comic shirts, and not like the superhero movie shirts. These were like, real true like comic shirts, There were a bunch of people walking around in Star Wars shirts, things like that. So the customer base there was a lot nerdier than what you standardly see at a car show.
Yeah, I wouldn't have expected that.
I wouldn't have either. So it's definitely a show that I'm thinking about putting back on for next year as well.
There's always a bunch of car shows everywhere too. But I guess that's more about how many car shows would let people set up.
Yeah,
like that.
this one is specifically set up to allow for this kind of thing. It actually had a pretty big vendors area. So, and we were two booths down from Hot Rod Betty's Tattoos. And so I'm hearing that gun go all day long, and I really wanted one.
You're getting a little excited.
I was, yeah.
And you got all these images next to you that you could easily get tattooed
Right?
on yourself.
Yeah, so, I was thinking about that.
You still have posters left over?
I do.
I haven't seen them.
I'm not sure exactly where they're at because I brought in so much resell stuff over the last 2 weeks. They're probably kind of buried at the moment, but I got to dig them out by this weekend. So next time you're over, you'll see them for sure. Yeah, I have a set if you want.
I don't know if I need a set. I guess how many are in the set?
4.
4. Oh, okay.
4,
I thought it was
so-
bigger than that.
No, so it's Melissa from Ghost Assassin,
Mm-hmm.
Lucy from Chronicles Von Helsing, Prosian from Principalities, and then the gender swapped lay mime. And the gender swapped lay mime was the one that like everybody wanted. There was a woman who came up who was all like, "I have to have this. This is me." Like, this is you. That's a weird comment, but it didn't look like it was her. She didn't look like a female mime, or
It's pretty odd.
and I think I was kind of like looking at her like, "This is you," and I think she took it wrong because she was a bit overweight, and she's like, "What was me 20 years ago and about 3 sizes less?" I'm like, no, that's not what I was saying. Like, I'm just saying you come up and you pick the mime out and you say that's you. That's more what I'm wondering.
You. You're fucking mine. You guys are everywhere.
Right?
Maybe you need to be a mime at the show.
Well,
You know,
that is actually
Levon would be really good
so.
for it. I
So
think.
okay, I guess it's finally time to start talking about this. I don't know if I'll be able to pull it off or not. But I have been thinking of various ways to make conventions more interactive, more ways to draw in people, more ways to kind of excite the fan base, that kind of stuff, right? One of the things I've been thinking is that I should actually be buying 2 booths at some of these bigger shows or events where a lot of people are going to be, so like the car shows, that kind of stuff. So I'm not talking like the Frankenstein shows or the Sasquatches or, things like that. I'm talking more like ECC, that kind of stuff. One of the things I've been thinking on, and it would be a big financial investment, but I think one of the keys to making more money at these shows, getting more well-known and everything, is doing things that makes people feel like you're interacting with them a bit more. I used to make a lot more money at shows when Alan would tramp stamp the Darkslinger logo on people than I do now that we just kind of show up and set up with, almost a little bit more boring style than what I used to do, right? But I've really been wanting to, and I wanted to do this with the last election, but I didn't get a chance to pull it off. I want to create a campaign for Le Mime running for president. And it would be awesome to have someone acting as him that would show up, give out cheese samples.
You could do that every so often because there's always some election going on every.
I want it to be president specifically.
Oh, okay.
So next year makes a lot of sense because of the whole campaigning, but, you got campaign buttons, campaign t-shirts.
That would be funny. I was thinking more like Levon dresses up like mime and starts putting people in boxes or something.
No, I'm actually thinking of far more interactive than that.
Are you allowed to give out food samples like that?
Okay, here's the thing. You're not allowed to sell food. But as long as it's packaged, most venues you can give it away. You can't sell it because then you're in competition with the people who have like vendor booths and all that kind of stuff, But giving out the packaged cheese singles, that wouldn't be any different than giving out candy.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the images that's being worked on right now that Benny Olea is working on is a Le Mime election day image that deals with the cheese, that brainwashes you and makes you do whatever, so you can kind of see where that's going without me giving away everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is a whole campaign that I want to do with Elbow Wine Marte next year. In fact, I might put the main story on hiatus for a few months and just kind of focus on this whole Le Mimes election day special. I might even tie in Little Le Mime and the Mini Slingers with having them, have him run for class president at the time,
Ooh, that would be good.
Yeah.
That'd be very good.
In fact, I just thought of that on the spot, by the way. I had not thought of that prior to saying it.
I like that guy at the horror show now.
Crypticon?
Yeah. That guy that I bought the baby skull glasses from.
Mm-hmm.
I like that he gave us drinks with those.
Yeah, now see that you're not actually supposed to do, I don't think, but
no, but
nobody cares at Crypticon.
But that was a bonus. That was a
so
good
what
cherry
Robert's
on
talking about
sale.
is there was a guy there who was selling handmade glasses, and in order to try and sell them, he'd give you a sample by going up and making you a screwdriver, wasn't it? Was it a screwdriver?
Yeah, I think that's what they were drinking.
Yeah, he was giving out screwdrivers in his glasses, and if you liked it, then hey, maybe you can come over and buy a glass. And yeah, it was a good idea because, alcohol takes down the inhibitions a little, and,
They made good birthday gifts.
Yeah, Those
Yeah.
were cool looking glasses. They really
They were creepy looking glasses.
Yeah. I want to for sure do Crypticon this year, so I got to see if the tables are up for sale yet.
How far out do they put that kind of stuff up?
Crypticon usually, it used to sell out like 2 months before the show, but last year sold out like 6 months ahead of the show.
That'd be around right now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so I need to look into it.
Yeah, I like that show.
I do too. I do too.
A lot of weirdos, but
Yeah.
that's part of the entertaining part of it.
It totally is. But on the subject of the lame mime thing, I might even be able to host a little campaign rally somewhere or something like that.
Hosted at a comic shop.
Yeah, there we go. We could totally do that. So I think it could be a lot of fun doing that, and just something stupid and.
I mean, heck, you could, depending on how far into this you could have a vice president with him.
My God, who do you think I should make the vice president?
Well, off the top of my head, who was kind of funny and old, because most people that do this sort of shit is old.
Uh-huh.
Old. Levon's character that he came
Oh,
up
Inspiratu?
with. Yes.
Could do that.
He's just trying to give these speeches to get everyone to vote for him.
Inspiratu would actually make a great running mate. Let's see if we can get Levon on the phone and see what he thinks about that.
I bet he'd love it.
We still got a little bit of time left in the podcast. I think Levon's not going to be picking up. Levon, you're missing your chance to be on the podcast tonight.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic.
We'll have to pitch him on it later. I can pitch it to him while we're on a podcast, though.
I think he'll dig it.
So, with that little disappointment that Levon didn't pick up his phone, I think that's about all the time we have for tonight. So that's it for this week's Dark Slayer Mafia podcast. I'm Adam Watson.
Robert Diaz.
Thank you for listening.